Well, hey there, you're on the internet. I have some free time, and welcome to the Triple N Network, where all you newbie nib nerds can find all the news you'll need. Let's look at an ink today, shall we? Today's ink is Organic Studios Nitrogen. It's a turquoise ink, so my camera might be doing some weird color alteration things, but I'll try and fix that as best I can. This is a 50 milliliter bottle, plastic. But I feel like I wanted to talk about this ink in part as a cautionary tale. I got it in a sample, I think I got both the sample and then this bottle of ink from Anderson Pens. And the sample was much darker. It looked much more like electric DC blue. It had a red sheen. I really loved it. And so I bought a bottle. However, when I bought a bottle, it was much lighter. And it was a severely different color, and there was no sheen, and the behavior was quite a bit different. But yeah, so all the tests were done in this Parsons Essential with a Medium Cursive Italic Stub. Let's look at the chromatography. Yeah, there's a sort of a light. Here on the camera it's looking a little more green than it actually is, but it's sort of a light blue and a darker blue, and then there's almost like an upside down T of dark blue. Not a lot of water resistance and pretty messy. So let's start from the top down in density. Clairefontaine 90 grams per square meter. Very quick drying. Comparatively. I mean, 6 seconds on Clairefontaine is fairly impressive. Not a great deal of shading in the swab, however there is some in the writing. However, you may also see that there's a bit of a woolly texture here. Yeah, lighter than I remember the sample. Some bleed, feather, and spread. Yeah, it didn't really like, something about this ink is just rather off. Yeah, water test, some remains, but it's explodey and it's feathery, and it dyed the paper. Granted, the paper really came apart, but anyways. Next is Rhodia 80 grams per square meter. Here it did a little better. It dried a little more quickly. There's a little bit more shading going on. And you can see it in the writing too, if my camera would focus. But yeah, and it's vibrant. It's a beautifully vibrant blue. However, it wasn't the blue that I was expecting, because I was expecting something a little bit richer, something with some sheen, because that was the sample I got. But yeah, really, the bottle was a very different kind of ink. As you can see, the paper actually started to come apart a little bit, but still, even where it didn't come apart, not a lot remained, and it dyed the paper. Now, granted, I did these tests before I bought Tomoe River paper, so we're skipping Tomoe River, but here's 20-pound copy paper. Yeah, as you can see, I tried writing on both sides just to see if I had gotten the laid side wrong or if it would make a difference, because it's, yeah, extreme feather, spread, not any shading, really not very well behaved. The water test was okay, but it exploded and it feathered and it dyed the paper a little bit and it came through. So next is Mead Notebook Paper, where, yeah, I mean 2 seconds to dry, so that's kind of nice, but yeah, extreme show through, spread, feathering. Look at that water test. That's a disaster. And this medium stub is really not that wet. It's because of the nature of the stub and like the flat nose of the nib, it actually pulls the ink around so it can make it fairly dry in some parts, but still, I mean, look at all that bleed through. And then last is Moleskine notebook paper, where just about the only things that are positive about it on this paper is that it dries almost instantly, and it's still fairly vibrant, but there's bleed, there's feather, there's spread. I mean, that water test is a mess. It dyed the paper, it exploded, there's feathering everywhere. I mean, it's just bad. And then look at that, that's just nasty. But yeah, so that's Organic Studios Nitrogen. I like the color, even though it wasn't the color that I really loved and fell in love with in the sample. And this is actually something that's happened to me several times before. I've gotten a sample of ink and it's very different than the color of the actual bottle that I end up buying. And not just from Anderson pens. It's happened from Goulet, it's happened from other places. It's, I don't know, it's a cautionary tale, I guess. So this ink is very temperamental. You want to be careful what papers you use it on. It's not terribly water resistant. It's a bit messy. It can dye the inside of your pen. It dyed the inside of some of my Hero 616s. It really, really did not want to scrub out of some of the feeds in the nibs. Like, you may be able to see, but there's sort of like a, yeah, I mean, I soaked this in pen cleaner, but it still didn't want to come out. It's not an ideal ink. It's very, the color's alright, but the ink itself and its properties make it really not ideal. So anyways, for your consideration, Organic Studios Nitrogen. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more, please subscribe to the channel. And thanks for watching. So long from the Triple N Network. Bye.